Good evening, everyone. I am Charlene Q. Pelayo, and my topic for this evening is all about appendix. So, what is appendix? Appendix, or also called vermiform appendix, is a thin 2 to 4 inch long and a finger-like blind-ended tube connected to the cecum and ileum. It is located on the lower right side of the abdomen or belly. They say that the function of the appendix is unknown. Other experts believe that it is just only a useless organ remnant from our evolutionary past, but some scientists now believe the appendix is not useless after all, and it may help our guts recover after a gastrointestinal disease strikes. The appendix contains a particular type of tissue associated with the lymphatic system, which carries the white blood cells needed to fight infections. One theory is that the appendix acts as a storehouse for good bacteria or rebooting the digestive system after diarrheal illnesses. Anatomical structure and relations. The appendix originates from the posteromedial aspect of the cecum. It is supported by the mesoappendix, a fold of mesentery which suspends the appendix from the terminal ileum. The position of the free end of the appendix is highly variable and can be categorized into 7 main locations depending on its relationship to the ileum, cecum, or pelvis. The most common position is the retrocecal. They may also be remembered for their relationship to a clock face. So this picture shows the different positions of the appendix. First is the pre-ileal, anterior to the terminal ileum, positions at 1 or 2 o'clock. Post-ileal, posterior to the terminal ileum, positions at 1 or 2 o'clock. Sub-ileal, parallel with the terminal ileum, positions at 3 o'clock. Pelvic, descending over the pelvic brim, positions at 5 o'clock. Subcecal, below the cecum, positions at 6 o'clock. Paracecal, it is alongside the lateral border of the cecum, positions at 10 o'clock. Retrocecal, it is behind the cecum, positions at 11 o'clock. Next is the histology of appendix. The most characteristic property of the appendix is the presence of masses of lymphoid tissue in the mucosa and submucosa. The appendix has the usual outer serosal 1-cell-thick peritoneal covering, then the muscle layers, which stain light pin, and then a layer of connective tissue called the submucosa. Beneath the submucosa is a thin layer, and then finally the lining layer called the mucosa. The arrangement of the layers in its walls is similar to that seen elsewhere in the large intestine. However, the outer layer of muscle fibers in the muscularis externa forms a continuous layer. The mucosa of the appendix is very similar to that of the colon, in that the mucosa is studded with pits called the crypts of Libercon. Crypts of Libercon are very interesting. They exist throughout the intestine and serve several functions. First, the intestinal contents, food, stool, are always rubbing off mucosal cells as they brush past. The intestinal mucosal cells that replace them are always growing out of the crypts to the resurface the bowel lining. The dark purple cells at the base of the crypts are intestinal stem cells. So that's all. Thank you for listening.